Okay, we are live for another session of our Female Entrepreneurship Support Program. You're all very welcome today, and we're looking forward to a very wonderful session today. And this session is in partnership with, is a collaboration between TechQuest STEM Academy and Junub Open Space, and it is part of the initiative by AfriLabs Capacity Building Programme that is funded by the Agence Française de Développement through the Digital Africa Seed Fund. My name is Dr. Itoro Emembolu. I'm a director at TechQuest STEM Academy. So I'm quite excited about today's session where our mentors will be speaking on business leadership. Our first mentor that I'll be speaking today is David Sichert. David is a researcher and an investor and coach. David, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, our second speaker is Adama. Adama Kouyate. She is the founder of AnKOR Advisors and Farafina Consulting. Adama, are you here with us? Okay. While we wait for Adama to get online, once again, please say hello in the chat box. Tell us where you're connecting from. And please remember that you ask your questions and we would take the questions at the end of the session. Once David finishes his presentation, I would just like to tell a bit about David and what he does. David, like I mentioned, is a researcher, and he has studied social sciences in Germany and South Africa, and he does research on the connections between ecology and economy, and has worked as a course coordinator and lecturer for the sustainability, economics, and management. He has been cooperating with startups and entrepreneurs in Germany, America, and South Africa as a consultant. Like I mentioned, he's a coach and an investor. He's also worked. He's also involved in New Hub in Botswana. So thank you again, David, and over to you. So once again, you're very welcome. We look forward to the session.
Okay, so right now David is presenting, right?
Yes. So David, it's already will start an introduction. I believe that's what she's trying.
So David, over to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Let me just start this slide.
Okay, so I'll be here.
Yeah. Can you see the screen? Can you see David's screen?
Yes, I can follow everything right now. Yes, I don't know if they can hear me
Today,
though.
we're talking about business leadership. As you see, I put a question mark on it. Who are you leading as an entrepreneur? First of all, yourself. Having a business idea is one thing, but investing time and energy over years into an idea and creating a sustaining business, this is something else. You are on a journey which will shape you as a person. Through entrepreneurship, you will sooner or later get in touch with all aspects of your own special and unique personality. You will go through highs, you will go through lows, you will go through lots of excitement, you will go through disappointment.
Oh yes, I see.
You will be strong, you will feel very strong, you will, on the other hand, you will also feel very weak sometimes. But like I said, within this process, there are countless opportunities to know yourself better and better every day. And as a coach and consultant, I realized that one of the most important skills of an entrepreneur is to get to know yourself and to manage yourself in the most supportive way. Leading yourself is one of the most difficult tasks, while at the same time building your own company by leading other people who need and expect guidance from you. So some say only when you love yourself, you can truly love other people. I don't know if you know that one. Let's transform this into leadership. Only if you are able to lead yourself, you can truly lead other people. And let's consider, take a minute and look at your own life and at your own behavior patterns. For example, do you overwork constantly? Do you speak about yourself in a negative way? Negative self-talk, like something like, oh, I knew that, that's typical me, I'm so stupid. Do you honor other people's time, for example? Are you on time? Are you responsible with your money? Or are you responsible with other people's money? How do you treat your friends? How do you treat your family, the closest people? Do you give yourself time to rest and to recharge? If you ask yourself such questions, please think of you as a highly respected person with already with a great reputation, who represents integrity, sticks out as a role model. Can you already see yourself in this very person? Or in which areas do you think you still need to grow to be this respected leader? Look at yourself and think of you as your own employee. And the question, would you hire yourself? You are the most important employee in your business. Think about it. By start leading yourself in the best possible way, you might think of the way you want to be treated. Look back. Maybe you had ever a very loving teacher or boss. Have you been ever in a situation where you felt you can grow as a person, making mistakes in a safe place? Have you been in a working environment where the feedback you received was fair and constructive? As an upcoming founder or as a growing startup, you want to create an environment where people love to give their best, where your team doesn't mind to spend extra time when things are tight, when these ambitious people you surround you with start representing your vision and become brand ambassadors for the idea you have put into reality. Think of your starting business. You can't compete with high salaries or an already established, attractive brand, expensive offices, company cars, fitness club memberships, things like that. More important is what you represent as an entrepreneur, as a leader. You as a leader who forms a team, leads a team by leading yourself in the best possible way. Live your vision and break it down to your personal values. As founder and entrepreneur, you are the most important person to represent your own company. So your company values should be totally aligned with your own personal values. Small things matter. And small things create an atmosphere where people want to grow with you. It's not about all the birthdays of your members, of your team members. I'm talking about showing them your gratitude on a daily basis, taking care of each other, taking care of yourself at the same time, being transparent, being vulnerable. Have regular meetings, have regular chats, even besides work, starts building a trustful relationship where you get a feeling about what's going on in your team. Because whether it's positive or not or negative, at some point it will affect your company, your startup. And these individuals are your assets. Without the right people, without the right team, without this inner circle of people you really trust, you will never get far with your business. And this is the reason also why family businesses have been successful. They have strong boundaries, even when conflicts occur, which happens in every family, as you know, and it happens in every business. That's why when conflicts occur, which is pretty normal, as I said, it's you as a leader who is responsible how and when they are solved and how much they affect your own company. There are billions of reasons for conflict between you and a team member, between team members and a client. Name it. Make sure that you know about it as soon as possible. And that requires a general atmosphere of trust and constant communication. The fresher the conflict, the easier to solve. Make sure to constantly improve your communication skills. Learn to distinguish between a position someone has and an issue which might behind this. To make sure that the discussions are held structured, solution-oriented, and always keep in mind, all conflicts include massive learning potential because they occur in each and every area, and they point on things and areas within your business that can be improved. So it is a big chance. You can perceive your startup as a human body from which you ideally at least be the head and the heart. And we all know what nasty viruses can do to a body. So the wrong person in your own team, in your own circle, can infect the whole system. If you observe and feel the company's performance and inner health is in danger, it is your duty as a leader to decide and also to execute, even if it's difficult, even if you feel it's I would like to do it for someone to go. Mostly, it's better to do it quickly than let the virus spread. It's always better to think of the whole project and your other team members, which you're also responsible for, and they expect you to lead, to protect them and your whole mission. Hard skills, some say they always can be taught. Of course, some things are a bit difficult to learn, but a person's norms and values are very hard to change. Look at it that way. When you look for the right people to join your team, rather look at the perfect fit in terms of values. If you hadn't taken time yet to write it down, what you personally and your company stands for, I would strongly recommend do so as quickly as possible. Because on this level, you will be able to attract the best employees, the best partners, and also the best customers. And there will be less conflict and more support because you connect on this higher level, which creates lots of trust. As an entrepreneur, your personal values and your company's values want to be in a perfect alignment. If this is the case, this will create like a magnet for the right people, and this will be the right corridor as well for your successful leadership. I'm thanking you a lot, and I'm open for questions. If you have any feedback, we're looking to get in contact with you. And like I said, you are the only you. There's so lead you so you can lead other people. With this, I'm closing. I'm very, very thankful for your attention.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much for that. And please, once again, if you have questions for David, please put it in the chat box. We will take that as we go along. We'll take on Adama's session first, and then we'll take the questions at the end of it. Thank you very much, David. I think it's very important when you think about it. Would you employ yourself? So you have to also be the best as a leader, and you're able to show that to the people that you're leading. So I think that's very interesting. Adama, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you?
How are you today?
Great. Can you hear me? I just want to make
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So thank you very much again. I will just run through your profile briefly before we start and your session. Adama Kouyate, she's the founder of AnKOR Advisors Limited Liability Company and Farafina Consulting. She's a knowledge broker, a strategy advisor, and a transformational coach. She works closely with individuals and organizations as a transformational coach, and she focuses on enabling self-actualization by being and rather than just doing. So she has over 15 years experience as a finance and operations expert, and she works with profit and not-for-profit within the not-for-profit sectors also. She's worked in Africa, in the United States, Europe, and parts of Asia. And she's also worked with a lot of international organizations, the Rockefeller Foundation, Touch Foundation, the African Development Bank, Trust Bank, and that's just to name a few. So I'll just welcome you once again, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to talk about on business leadership. So thank you once again, and you're very welcome, Adama.
Thank you. Great. Thanks very much for that introduction. I'm happy to be here, despite the little technical issues we had earlier, but very happy to be back and joining in. So again, thanks to the Female Entrepreneur Support Program for having me to speak about business leadership. So now, how does it work? Do I just click on something to go next, or I need that?
Yes, if you go to the slides, if you go to the right, you see slides, and then you see the next button. So just click on next.
Oops, did I stop something? It looks
I think you stopped the slides. I'll just stop that again.
Okay. So I will need 1 second to just work this out. The slide is up, and where do I slide?
Yes.
Next. Okay, great. So what I would like to do in the interest of time is to split my 15-minute talk between the introduction is already done, which is great, and talk about the team that we have today, which is business leadership, and the different areas that I've been asked to touch on. So next will be that. My introduction is done, which is great. Thank you. Okay, tech. Clearly, this morning, me and tech were not friends, but we will get there.
Adama, if you could increase the audio, the volume. I think some of our participants are unable to hear you very clearly.
Okay, so I put it the max now. Is that okay?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Great. And I will try to max also. So in terms of the theme today is business leadership. So how do you run your business, and what's the world we live in? I will start by saying we live in a world that changes rapidly, and businesses are no different. And I think the pandemic has shown us that nothing is set in stone, and you have to learn to adapt. So when we talk about leadership, what is that really? Is it authority? Is it power? Or is it coercing people to get things done? My understanding of it is about social influence. How do you bring a group of people together, maximize their efforts so that they can come to a common goal? How do you do that? So as a leader, if you have a company or you have a department that you're leading, it's important to have to show your group of people how to get to a point and how it becomes a win for all of you to get there. And you are as a leader, you are responsible of many things. You are not just there to give people orders. You are there to motivate them. So you wear a lot of hats. You motivate them. You have to make sure that your people, your group, your team, they are committed to the success of your organization. So as David was saying earlier, would you hire yourself? Would you be the kind of people that you want around you? And for that, you have to also be very clear about what it is that you want. Why is it that you're there? Your why is very important because it always comes back to check whenever you have challenges and things are not going right. You need to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why did I surround myself with this kind of people? What am I showing up myself when I come here? Am I clear enough to show my group, my team, what it is that we want to achieve, the what, which is the vision? Am I showing them the steps to get there or not? Am I clear myself? If I'm a confused person, most likely the people behind me will not have any direction and will not take me seriously. So in terms of business, you are not going to be able to go far. So a business person is not just about, I have a brilliant idea, I have a lot of people around me, they're going to do the work. You really become the parent. You need to know your people. The emotional intelligence comes into play, and that's much more important than just the processes, the standards that you know about business. That's quite important. And so the different areas that I've been asked to talk about are the cross-functional business approach. So I will start quickly with the first one. What are the cross-functional aspects of a business? So in an organization, whether it be small or large, usually if it's small, because we have different kind of entrepreneurs in our audience here, you will definitely have a finance department or one person running the finance aspect of it and human resources. If it's a more established organization, you will have much more like sales, marketing, a much bigger human resources department. You will have project departments. So now those are the different functions of an organization. So when we talk about cross-functional business, it simply means bringing together different expertise so that the groups come together to solve a problem. But it has to be solved in an innovative manner. It has to bring solutions. And sometimes it's about managing a project, sometimes it's just about how these different entities in an organization can come and work together. Again, bringing these different groups, it's not an easy thing. It's not just a magic wand. You have to be very, very in sync with your intuition. You need to read people well. You need to read yourself first. That's important. You can't start reading people if you don't know who you are yourself, if you don't know why you're there and what it is that you're looking for. And when you bring these people, there has to be a diverse. It's not about bringing like-minded people to talk about the same things. They're just different functions doing the same. So in your organization, if you really want to find an innovative way and finding solution to resolve a specific problem, think about bringing young people with more experience and even more experience. So to have a mix of a group. So in terms of gender, in terms of age, in terms of different temperaments, some people work best in the morning, some in the afternoon, some more in the evening. You need to know these people and not group morning people with evening people. Nothing will happen. This is the reason why a lot of organizations make you take a test to kind of see the personalities that you have so you can blend well together. But I would add and say that above all, clarity is needed. Nobody can lead anyone. If you see at the head, the person who's there is confused, doesn't know where they're going, you don't take them seriously. And that's where the communication part comes into play. And I will say the best way for me to summarize the cross-functional parts of a business is this quote, like two heads are always better than one. Similarly, a cross-functional teams are much better because you have different personalities, different understanding of a business, different ways and perspective of looking at a problem and providing solutions. So The more heads, but the right heads, let's just emphasize on that, the better for your business. And what happens is when you have the right mix, you see, it's like having a candle in a home. It's well put together in terms of packaging and everything else. You light it, it smells nice. It's really beautiful to be in that space. However, if it's not done properly, you just want to turn that off because it doesn't smell nice, the packaging is ugly, you don't want to be around that kind of thing. It's the same for a team. If the blend is right, then people are happy to come to work. They jump, they know what they're doing. They buy into your vision, they buy into your goal, they buy into what it is that needs to be done. They offer themselves to you because they've seen you offering yourself to the organization and valuing that. So you have a productive team, you have better communication, the decision making is also less cumbersome because people know each other, they easily talk to each other, and decisions are made. Because that human part often is left out when you're running a business. People think it's all about processes, but a great part it's about people connecting and getting along well. So that's very important when you're leading a business to have in mind. So in terms of strategy formulation and implementation, I will try to go quickly just by giving you another code. The formulation of a strategy is like you have a business and you need to solve a problem. And in order for you to solve a problem, you need to figure out what it is you have to do. That's what formulation is all about. It's about it's about the path, it's about a roadmap, how we go about this. And that's the part where you have to be very bold. You can't be wishy-washy and shy about it. You need to figure out where you have to go. So this quote, for instance, that says, the method of an enterprising is to plan with audacity and execute with vigor. So it really summarizes it well, because when you have an issue, you have to think about it. You have a roadmap. Once you have that roadmap, you need to stick to it. It has to be clear. It has to be simple. And that's where the leader has to look at the strategy and be clear about it, and also be able to translate that to others. You can't make it too complicated. If it's complicated for you as a leader, you can rest assured that everyone listening to you will not get a thing. So that's why the simplicity of it is key. And once you have that roadmap, it's time to take action. You can have the best strategy you have. If you don't take action and do something about it, it will just stay in your drawer or on your mind, but it will not move. And that's what the implementation part of it comes in. And that's where the leader really comes into play. Now he's wearing all sort of hats. He's the person you're going to go to for guidance. He's the person you're going to as an ally. He's the person you're going to provide all the resources. He's the person who also steps back and lets you do your thing. If you have somebody hovering over you and checking every minute, it would drive you crazy. So that leader has to embody all of these things. It's a lot of things. To be a leader in business is not for the faint of heart, really. You have to be ready for this. And when it comes to the people that you're working with, like I said earlier, it's really about you, yourself. Do you know yourself? Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? And do you know how you're going about it? Which is really about the strategies elaboration part. And this graph, I don't know if you can see it, it's really self-explanatory, and it's in terms of how do you bring people together. It's 8 steps, talks about how if there is a problem to be solved, you need for people to have a buy-in. They have to understand the urgency of it. They need to know why they're doing what they have to do. They need to be clear about what they're doing. They need to have the steps. They need to also know that their contribution is valued. Otherwise, people just come for the paycheck. And we talk about entrepreneur mindset. A lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs today, but it's important to understand that this term is sometimes used loosely. To be an entrepreneur, it's not about just creating a company. It's creating a company that brings a solution and transforms a sector. That's what makes a difference. That's why somebody can confidently say, I am an entrepreneur because I entered the banking system, or I entered hospitality system, or any kind of sector, sorry, I should say, and transformed it. We take the example of M-Pesa. What did M-Pesa do? It's fintech. On one hand, they use finance, which is banking, transferring money, and on the other hand, they use technology. How did they transform? They started in 2007. They can call themselves entrepreneur when they started because they disrupted those two sectors. They allowed me as a customer, they said, what value? First question is, what value do I bring to my customers? If you can answer that question, you're on the first step. So what did they do? They decided, instead of carrying a lot of money, and we know in our countries, our currencies are quite heavy and big. So if you have to transport that with you, there is a lot of danger of robbery, of losing cash, things like that. They facilitated. All you have to do is use a mobile phone, and then with the banking, so as an individual from one city to another one, I can send money for my other business. I can send money to my loved ones, to friends, to anyone I care about. And I don't have to run the danger of being robbed or anything like that. And it changed the system by bringing in safety, cost saving, transportation, and the sweat of just having to worry about what do I do with this bag of money, and everybody knows that I have it. We take the example of McDonald's. What did McDonald's do when they opened? Nothing really special, one would say. It's just fast food. But they transformed it. They changed the whole thing. They had a business processes in place. They have standards in place. They have training in place. If you open a McDonald's shop in any of our countries on the continent or around the world, you must follow a certain standard. You must follow a certain training. You must use certain tools. That's what being an entrepreneur is. It's yes, creating a new business. It can be small or big, but you have to change. You have to transform that sector. You have to add some value. Otherwise, you're just someone else who has created a business. And when we talk about board of directors, that's a governing system. It's important that so that the CEO alone is not the head of everything. The CEO is also checked. It's really about check and balance. It's about increasing the corporate financial performance. It's giving. It's also the fiduciary responsibility. It's making sure that businesses are run properly, that one person doesn't run away with it, and it brings a sense of safety and a sense of security to people who come in, because they know there are check and balances when they come in. So the fit for an organization when you come in, or an entrepreneur hiring someone, is not just bringing someone on board. The fit goes both ways. I come in, do I fit with your organization, the core values of organization, and does the organization fits with me? So it's a win-win situation. So when we talk about business leadership, there is more to just creating a business, offering a service. There is a lot to do with the human aspect of it, the people that you deal with, because it's really the two sides of a coin. A team and the leaders go together. And you can have leadership if there is no one to lead, and you cannot have a team if there is no head, no one with a vision. So that human aspect is key. For me, that's very important. And the companies I've worked with, it's not that they don't have great ideas, they do. And they're happy to share it. But the problems that they run into after 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or more, it's always around the teams. Who do I bring on? How do I bring that on? Even yesterday, I was on a call about someone who is looking for help to structure his organization. And I can tell you, 90% of it is about people. Because he has the idea, he has the money, but how does he bring all that together? That's what the whole issue is about. So it's knowing yourself, it's knowing who you bring on, and it's also how you're nurturing them and how you value them so they know their time and contributions are valued seriously. And I will add the last part to end this is leadership is not just sitting in your office and giving orders. It's really walking through. It's knowing who you're working with. It's looking at people in the eyes. going and saying, hi, how are you? Remembering their names. And it's always a beautiful touch when you come and you know somebody has given birth or somebody has got married or something like that. A personal touch makes a difference. Having lunch with your people, seeing that you're accessible, it helps you also to grow on a personal level, because that humanity and that humility is key. Plus, don't think you have to know it all as a leader. That's a racket and it will drive you nuts. And you will be running on empty. There is no way. Surround yourself with smart people, people who can challenge you, but challenge you in a very professional way, and it helps. Mentor them. And mentoring also is another thing. Mentoring is not me knowing and giving to others. You gain a lot from the young people. They mentor you. So that reverse mentorship is key. Don't think because you have 15 years, 20 years of experience, it's for you to give. Yesterday I was on another call and I'm telling you, these millennials, they blew my mind. I'm just like, can you take over my website? Can you help me? Because I don't understand a thing about this stuff. So they are mentoring me. They are telling me what time to post, when not to post, and how to post. I have no clue. So the mentorship is key and it goes both ways. So just remain human. Be yourself and remain human. Surround yourself with the right people. That's where I will end it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adama. I think that was very useful. Please, if you have questions for Adama and David, please put them in the chat box and we will get to them. I think it's very interesting, and I think you both touched on very interesting points and very important points on communicating and also putting yourself out there, getting more involved with the people you lead. And like you said, having that personal touch, it's always nice when people remember little things that might be personal to people. I think it gives that that you are involved with what they are doing. So I think that's really, really important. I have one question. I'll start with you, Adama. So how do you know, we've talked about setting up board of directors, the importance of being able to bounce off your ideas and how to structure your business. How do you know how to select the right sets of directors for your organization? How would you?
Honestly, for me, I work on intuition a lot.
Okay.
Of course, I get it. They have to have that business background. It depends on what it is that I'm looking. If I'm looking for someone with the finance background or someone who has a lot of network, all depends on the role that I want to fill on the board, right? But beyond that technical part of the person knowing or having the clout and things like that, I have to make sure that there is a connection. Because it is my business, I know how it works. I know who are part of it. The fit is key. It doesn't matter how much money you can bring to your organization. If you are a nasty personality, you have a nasty personality, it is not going to last. So that combination is important. And I think you get that from the feeling. You have to talk to the person, you have to see the person. And outside of an office with the corner office and all that bling and stuff. No, take them to a park, not even a restaurant, Take them to, because in a restaurant we already said we have to be proper. We know how to eat, we know how to treat our people are watching how you're dealing with the waiter. We know all that scenario. Take them to a different thing, to a team, to an orphanage. Just observe how they deal with other people.
Okay.
And it matches your mission, because it depends what I'm doing. If I'm selling food, I don't know if I'm interested in X personality, but I want good people around me because I do like to think that I'm a good person. So I don't want any negative vibe around me.
Okay. I think that's very useful, because, like you've said, it's very important to always have that right connection, that right fit with your business. So I think one of the core things that you have mentioned, and I think David also touched on it earlier, is identifying the values, your core values that you need for your business, so that you're able to make sure that whoever you're trying to get on board, you're able to see that this is what you need, and can the person help you achieve those goals. So thank you very much for that. David, I have a question also. You spoke about communication, and Adama also spoke about it and the importance of it. How can a leader, practical ways now that a leader can get feedback on how they are communicating? Because it's one thing, you might feel that you're communicating very well with your employees, and it might not actually be that way. So how best can you almost like get that 360 feedback to make sure that you're communicating the right things you intend, your values that you're trying to put across?
Thank you, Dr. Emembolu, for the question. I think it's a very important one, because I think as a leader, you directly realize, because you get instant feedback of your communication. When you communicate with your team, for example, you see, do they understand? Is what I wanted, is it what they are doing, or are there lots of question marks, or are the results difficult for me to handle? So this first of all gives you an instant feedback. Then looking down to how to improve. If you realize your communication is not suitable for your people, it's always important to observe yourself, and also talking to someone who is maybe not involved. So get a reflection, like have a mentor, for example, maybe even it's someone from your board who's not involved every day, someone who can mirror you a little bit. And another thing which is also important, improve your communication skill, because this is something you have to specify, and also to, I would say, to personalize on your people, because we both know we work on different levels, and some people understand a certain language better, and other people maybe need another example of how you actually what you actually want, or what you want to get across. So this is also something I would take into account.
Okay, thank you. Adama, do you want to add to that?
I think David covered it beautifully, but he's right. Of course, we have the formal way of reporting, and a lot of people would shy away of writing about their bosses, because it's in writing. So it's up to you to know yourself and to read people, because the body language never lies. The eyes will always speak to you. The hands will always speak to you. You will shiver. You see people shivering because of your words. So I would say, pay attention. As a leader, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention, and then don't. You can really, sometimes we're human. Sometimes you snap, and it's okay to apologize, because people know then in their teams, if they snap, they need to do it. If you at the head, you're able to do that, they will have to do it. But it's really about knowing yourself, stopping. If it gets heated, yourself, you're going to snap, get out. People are observing you. We always think nobody's looking. Everybody's looking. Everybody's looking. So you better be looking at yourself as well.
Yeah. So I can see it's very important. Very important paying attention. Like you said, paying attention. Watch out for those nuances that might just slip through. So that's very important. We have a question from Rosetta, and maybe I'll like your perspectives, both your perspectives on it. She says she's a startup with little finances, so she cannot afford to pay for some of the quality smart people that she desires. How can she get smart people on board without giving too much of her shares? Let's start with you, David, and then Adama.
David first? Okay, thanks for the question. I mean, if smart people want a lot of shares within of a startup immediately, I'm not sure if they're very smart. If you enter a startup and you see the possibilities of growing with it, it's a very fragile system. Wanting to push out or to pull out too much from in the beginning, it more or less represents a lot of greed than really the intention to grow with this project. So be careful on who you really want. So what I said earlier, Rosetta, is look at your own values, especially your company's values, and think really of the type of people you want to attract apart from your skills. Because, like I said, there are many smart people out there, and or educated people, and people maybe who can help you in a certain way. But it's very important that they really fit to you. And if you feel uncomfortable in what they want from you or what they want to pull out of the company, they might not be the right fit at this early stage.
Okay. Adama?
In terms of bringing resources in, I think as a startup, be mindful of giving yourself time to grow. Bringing people in at an early stage may actually be detrimental. So you have to be very careful. They may be smart, they may be, they may even have raised loads of funds, but they will dilute you. So remember why you created this brilliant idea of yours. Why did you do it in the first place? And keep your eye on the prize. Bringing people in, especially at the early stage, is not necessarily a good idea. Sit with your idea for a little bit. And don't be in a hurry of making that $1 million. Don't get me wrong. If you get it, don't forget me. But I'm just saying, it's not about the money in the first stages, and there are other ways of contributing to a business. If somebody really trusts this and believes in you, they will contribute differently. You don't have to pay them necessarily. You can recognize them. I don't know what kind of business you're doing, but you can call on them whenever you have some recognition, or on your website, you can just have a shout out and say, this person was there, supported me. You can get advice from other mentors. They don't necessarily have to sit with you. And with technology, I think we have access to a lot today without having to bring people in personally, especially as a startup. Just be a little careful. I know there are a lot of stories out there of people raising loads of money, and it can incite people, but raising money means they have a part of you, and the you is your startup. Do you want to have a lot of people in your living room every day, that when you come in home, think about it?
Okay. Thank you very much. So I have a follow-on question to that. So that, that is now looking at maybe trying to bring people into your business. But, like if you're growing in your business, there is need for getting resources, maybe like employing people to work for you. How do you choose the right set of people that you work for you? I know it's a bit like going back to the same kind of things. But a lot of times you find out that some of the startups, they run through a lot of people that come and go. How can they retain the best set of people that they feel aligned with their goals? And I think that's, in a way, some of the other things that Rosetta is also trying to get. So apart from them coming to have shares in their business, it's also trying to get that competency that they feel their business needs. So what do you think about that, Adama?
Okay, so you have a business and you're trying to retain the right people. First, are you yourself clear about what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it? If that is very clear, have you communicated that clearly to other people? Okay. Sometimes people come in and they tell you, I want to work with you, I love your idea, I support you. But like I always say, there is that part of intuition that never lies. When you meet with someone, you just know there is something that will tell you. Now, your intellect, your brain will start rationalizing and give you all sort of reason why you should keep them. They have the right connection, they have the right knowledge. But if it's off, it is off. Just be very careful about that. It's easier said than done, but the more you practice that, the better it is for you. You know when you step into a room if there is danger or not. You better turn and go. When you're facing that person and it's off, even if you can't put your finger on it, let it go. The right person will come in. Sometimes we resist so much, we want that thing so much, it comes to burn us. So be clear about what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, communicate that clearly, and be very honest about the benefits, the pay, the incentives, and ask them, why do you really want to be with me? I'm small, I don't have this. What happens? What is the scenario that I spent a year with you, train you, give you all that, and you leave? That's also a possibility. You don't hold people. What happens? You have to be able to let them go. But like I said, really pay attention. It's not about holding. You never hold anyone. You don't hold money. You don't hold people. That's a false assumption we have, and that's what gives us so much headache. You don't hold anything. You just do something that is so brilliant that people want to come to you. Offer the service. It's just maybe that coffee place around the corner. Whenever you go, they serve you your coffee with a smile. Guess what? I'm going to that shop. I'm not buying my coffee anywhere else. And we all have that, the thing that you do over and over. It doesn't matter how long you drive to go get that piece of bread. There are things. So offer them something that make them want to come back. And they will come back without you having to force them. Okay. That's how I see relationship, professional and otherwise, are built.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have a question from Itoro. She says, as a female entrepreneur leader, how do you manage a male staff who deems himself older and causes friction? So maybe that I'm older than you, I should know better than you. So you have someone in your staff like that. How do you deal with that without it affecting other staffs? How do you manage? So I think the idea is, what do you do in conflicts, in case of conflicts within the organization around your team members? At the same time, not discouraging the other team members, but taking a decision. So, David, let's start with you.
Having a team member who wants to be the leader can be a bit difficult, of course. And we know, of course, as guys sometimes are very straightforward, and it might even intimidate a female entrepreneur. But I strongly, speaking now to all the wonderful women around here, they should definitely don't feel intimidated by someone who has just another gender. So take all the knowledge, all the wisdom you have, and start communicating. Make yourself clear that the vision and the leadership is how you run the show. And I mean, if another person wants to do it and wants to take over, I think it's a bit of a difficult situation. And sooner or later, if this wouldn't really work, going together into the direction of reaching the vision, then of course it's leadership, maybe the hard decision to cut off this branch and to move forward. I mean, I would definitely start with communication to set the roles clear, and if this person accepts you as the female leader, also as a man, then it might go forward. Otherwise, I think in terms also to protect the whole system, it's sometimes also important to take a decision and to execute in terms of letting this person go.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for that. Adama, do you have something to add to that?
I would say, listen, as another woman, so all the sisters on this call, first of all, we put this female leader. We rarely say male leader, so forget about female leader. You are running your show. This is your business. Be assertive, be clear. If you're wishy-washy and starting already to deem yourself as a female, you're putting yourself down. It's going to translate into your behavior. It's going to be seen. And those who are bullies and who want to take over will take over. So number one, you are a leader. This is your business, and you will do as you see fit. Like David said, it's important to communicate. If you've observed it, give that person a chance to speak and understand where is that coming from. Not just because he's a male and he's forceful, because not all men are like that. So be careful not to generalize just like we like to generalize. I'm a female leader, therefore I'm this. I'm a female writer, therefore I'm a female this and the other. And because we put that female, it has taken 20-30% already of our confidence. No, You're a leader, you know what you're doing, communicate it well, clearly. If that chap doesn't want to be on board, guess what? The door is open, go. But do it properly. You don't want a lawsuit on you. You don't want, bad vibe between people. Be clear and let it go. Cut it, because the impact will be greater on the rest of the team. So what do? If the apple is rotten, let it go nicely. Thank you very much. Gotta go. But this is how we run business here. But really be careful about female leader. We have to be very careful, because we don't put that female on top, and yet we are. We can do this. We run our homes naturally. Show a little girl and a little boy, give them $10 and see how it works. We have this in us. Why do you keep thinking, I'm a female leader, then I'm going to just shut down? I know the realities. I'm a woman, I get all of that. But I really am intentional about it. I'm very careful, because that voice also runs in my own head. Don't get me wrong sometimes, but I have to remind myself, you're just here as a professional. Deliver, full stop, and keep it moving. But, my safety here, there are things I pay attention. As a woman, I would probably not be alone at 11 p.m. at a meeting, things like that. But I'm being just safe. Or I know that if I'm in a meeting that I have David to walk me home or something like that, because that's the reality of it. If somebody's not picking me up, I will make sure that I have somebody I trust in that setting that is going to walk me and help me get to my car, help me home, or drive with me until I get there. Because that's how, unfortunately, the world in which we live. But I'm leading an organization. It's my company. It is my company. I am not having any apology about it. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I think that answers Nkiru's question. There's also a follow-on question. I know we're running out of time, so we'll just take this last question. She said, so if you have employees that you had agreed with on specific targets, and then after they are confirmed, because usually they always have like a period of probation, after they are confirmed, they now start consistently saying they are unable to meet the targets that were initially set, but you need those targets to be able to pay them. How best can you deal with those staff?
David, you want to take that?
Yes, no, go ahead.
Listen, the way I see it, my business is not a resort. It's not a vacation spot. You don't come here. You need to understand that. And they have to see you. Like David, we both share that. What you put out is what you get. What kind of leader are you? Are you coming at 10 p.m.? 10 a.m.? Are you showing up? Are you slacking off? What are you setting? If I'm showing up at 8:30, I'm in the office and I'm leaving at 6, you better be doing your work. I'm not here to play. This is not a vacation spot. We're not chilling. And you need to understand, if these numbers don't make it, your pay is tied to the numbers. So, my friend, we are here. We need to work. So let's work. Let's get this done. We will have playtime. We will have, it's not working people to death and things like that. We will have time. This is why the structure is important. You can have Friday afternoon and much longer. You can have pizza day. I have no idea. Whatever you are, the food that you like, just give people joy. Give them fun. Work is not about just sweating and feeling stressed out. Forget that. You can bring in an hour of yoga or meditation or just showing something. People need to feel like, you know what? I love being at this office even better than being at home, because I come here, I can do this, I meet great people, we share, we do this kind of thing. So I think that helps, but show up properly so that you can speak to people on the actions. But if you're not doing it as a leader, you just have to zip it. You can't say, yes, it's your business, but you still have to work. You have to show them, And it's not a vacation spot. We're working so that you can go on holiday.
Yes, true. Thank you very much. So I know we're running out of time. So thank you everyone for joining us. David, if you have one last thing you like entrepreneurs, you like to leave the entrepreneurs with that they should remember, I would like you to take that. And after that, Adama. So we have a final word for entrepreneurs.
And what maybe on the last question which was asked, I think, of course, please check if you're, especially if you start and if you overload your people, maybe think of also, are those goals achievable? If not, please check and reduce them. But if you really get the feeling they are just not able to fulfill goals which are achievable, then it's also maybe have a look if the person is the right person at the right place. So be aware, zoom out, look at look from above on your organization, be aware what's happening, and yeah, and this is what I also like, what was said before, be authentic and don't compare yourself or don't stigma yourself as a female. Be a person, know your strength, and that's what I think works the best. And in terms where people are like, yeah, I have to be a man or I have to act like a man in order to be successful. These times are gone, and I think this is a beautiful time to just lead authentically, and encourage all of you to do that.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you. Adama, do you have a final word for our entrepreneurs?
Yes, I would tell the entrepreneurs, male and female, be inspired by the journey of others, but be yourself. Because there is no one like you, and that's the beauty of life, really. Just be you and be inspired, but be yourself. That's the special touch you bring to the world, really. That's it.
Thank you very much, Adama. Thank you, David. Thank you, Adama. Thank you, all our entrepreneurs, for joining us today. So the slides will be made available on our YouTube channel later today. So you could replay the link if you want to, and you could share it with your friends also. David and Adama also are available if you would like to have personal sessions to discuss your business. You could go on peak time and book sessions with them on their available times. So thank you very much again, everyone. And we look forward to having other sessions with you. Thank you, Adama. Thank you, David. Everyone, do have a wonderful day.
It was great to be here. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Cheers.